Hello, this is Arlene Cohen-Miller from Jewel Consultancy, and today I'd like to talk to you about Namaste. Namaste is a term that many of us have heard that take yoga, and Namaste means that the God in me greets, acknowledges, and loves the God in you. But it really means a lot more than that, and I'd like to convey that to you today because it's really something that it's really important to incorporate into our lives. And what Namaste really means partly is to greet somebody anew. And so what does that mean? Let's say that you're dealing with somebody at work and they've been like a really bully to you. They've been nasty and mean and very unpleasant. Well, if you every time that you say hello to them, if you're completely expecting them to be like they've always been, that's all that you will ever see. Now, I'm not telling you don't be discerning, and I'm not telling you don't have protection up around you, like a golden bubble of protection, and to be a little bit wary because that's been their history. But still greet the person anew. Because what you might find is that they have a lot more depth to them than you've ever seen before, and a lot more qualities that you'd like to maybe get to know, because they're not really like that all the time, but you just had this preconceived notion because how they were in prior times, and you're dragging that past along with you, so that's how you always see them. So it's really important to greet everything anew. Everything. Without any preconceived notions. And that's a real challenge because we have a history with so many things and so many people. But how would that be? How might it open us up to so many more new possibilities to really just greet everybody anew? Don't you just love it when I park my car? It's usually a quiet street and everybody drives by. Oh well. I hope you still enjoyed the message. So it's really something I want you to think into and feel into. How would it be if I greeted everybody anew, including, let's say, my partner or my spouse? Maybe one day you're really, it's just you have a great, time with them and everything's all lovey-dovey, and the next day they're just in a crappy mood. Well, the time you greet them after that, maybe a half an hour later, and you just expect them to be in a crappy mood again, and you don't just see, well, how are you in this moment? Are you someone that I want to be around? Or maybe do I want to just say, see you later, dear. You got stuff you got to deal with, and it's not my stuff, and I love you, but I really don't want to be around this. So it's an ever-going process where in each moment you greet everything anew. And if you greet everything anew, then you just sort of have a clean slate with life, and you have no preconceived notions of how things are going to be. You open yourself up, and you open your world up to hundreds and thousands of more possibilities than you could ever have imagined. Because every moment's like a kid. It's like, wow, leaf, mommy, leaf. Wow, mommy, ball, another leaf. Everything's different and new. If we take that childlike innocence into our hearts and just really have no preconceived notions, and then just greet everything, wow, how are you in this moment? And however that person is, that's how you deal with them. So however they are, that's where you set your boundaries. So if they're having a bad hair day, you have a lot stronger boundaries, a lot stronger golden bubble of protection around you, a lot more, I'll talk to you later kind of attitude and energy field than if they're really open and loving. Because the mistake that a lot of people make is that they set their boundaries on how they are feeling, not how the other person is. And this is something that we don't want to do. We want to set our boundaries on how they are. Because if we are like all open and loving and everything's wonderful, and then we greet someone with open arms and they're in a really crappy space, we might take all that stuff into our system and feel horrible. So it's really important within this concept of greeting everybody anew to set our boundaries based upon where they are at, not where we are at. So boundaries are like your golden bubble of protection and things like that, where you're drawing the line on your energetic field, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as, these are my limits. So I hope this makes sense to you, and try and apply it in your life. Just see what it's like, to have no preconceived notions, or if you start talking to someone, you realize, wow, this conversation is like how I would be with them the way they were yesterday or last week or last year or when I knew them when I was 10. I wonder what they're really like now, and feel into that, and greet them from that space, and interact with them from that space, and see how things are different for you. You might just learn and grow a little bit. It might be really interesting. So this is Arlene Cohen Miller from Jewel Consultancy. Don't forget to greet people anew and have your boundaries set by how they are, not how you are. Take good care. Have a wonderful day. All the best. Talk to you soon.